Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday night at Knox Makers, and that means it's time for show and share. We've got many folks from the community gathered tonight, having brought in nifty projects to demonstrate for the rest of us, successful and otherwise. And we're going to get started tonight with Ashley, who has a multitude of updates to share. Ashley.
Hello. So I actually, one of our last show and shares, I was going to raise my hand at the end and say, like, ad hoc, I want to go. But then Arturo went and showed that beautiful video of the drone. And I was like, I'm not following that. So I had a couple personal projects that I wanted to just kind of show off. This right here is one of them. I made a huge bag that I felt weird bringing in, like, something I bought with all my craft supplies that I was trucking back and forth to the zone, to the maker workshop. So I actually went ahead and just made one. And then while I was at it, I made one for my best friend and two for my other two daughters. So I have made like so many bags and I've learned lots of things, but I absolutely love it. It's brought a lot of happiness. The next thing I was working on is actually last year, I took an embroidery class with Thea, and I started this last year, and I picked it up and put it down a lot. I ended up kind of maybe the last month or so finishing it out while watching TV, and I think it's gorgeous. What I'm wanting to do is I have a blank wall in the living room, and have you all ever seen like blue china, the really pretty china? I love it. I have like one piece of it, but I love it. And so what I thought is I would do a whole series of embroidery work. And then like in between, mixed up in it, I'd have some of Sean's wood turn plates. So it would be like a wall showing off some of our hobbies and the products of that. So I did find, and the blue, I have one, but I also found a super rare mulberry one. So I was doing, right now, I'm working on a purple version so that I could have it match the mulberry plate of china that I have. So those are my two projects. And then up next, I wanted to kind of plug a class that I'm working on. It's going to be held tomorrow. It's called Kinu Saga. This is one that Brooke and I were practicing the art of it, and so these are our mocked up versions that we're going to be showing in the class tomorrow. And I wanted to show everybody here because I know that there's only 8 people that 8 tickets for the class. I did this one, and what you do is you basically have foam board, a double-sided tape, and then you etch your design into it, and then peel each section. Like you would peel this whole section off and put the fabric down, and then tuck it in with like an X-Acto knife or some other tool. And you just go section by section, kind of paint by numbers, but with fabric. And it's a really cool Japanese art that I'm tickled pink to have the class tomorrow. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And this is Brooke's test project. It's the sun sphere, using some fabric from like curtains that she used to have. I don't know, it's really cute. And then I have an example of a book safe that we'll be doing an after show and share activity at the end of the month. And I just kind of wanted to show off what this would look like so that you know what you'd be taking home with you. Taking home with you after you'd complete the project. This was actually helped with by Joe, help us kind of put it together and what it would be like. But we have a bunch of old books. This is obviously Danielle Steele. So if you want Daniel Steele on your shelf as your bookshelf or as your book nook, you're welcome to our books, or you could bring a hardcover book in with you. And we'll have all that info up on the calendar whenever we get the details ironed out. But we have this. And then, Brooke isn't here, is she?
She just walked in.
Brooke, come here. So where all this comes from, we're really amping up our classes in arts and crafts because we want to raise some money to buy our own kiln. We want to be able to do glasswork in arts and crafts, and the kiln is quite expensive. So we are pedal to the metal on any sorts of class that we can organize. And she is teaching this class next week
For everybody who is afraid of sharp ends of glass, we have removed all the sharp ends off, and you can make lovely art.
You want to put it over here?
Sure. Without cutting yourself, without soldering, without foiling, without having to replace the windows in a church. And this type of craft is great for Mother's Day cards as well. So we've got canvases, we've got acrylic panels, and we have blank greeting cards too. So that's Thursday the 26th at 6 o'clock.
Perfect. This is tumble glass that she has taken a lot of time to use in our rock tumbler. It's just scrap glass from our stained glass area. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. There you go. All right. Do you want me to pass anything around? I feel I have so many. I'm not going to pass anything. Okay. If you want to see it, come after the show and share, and we'll show it to you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Boy, arts and crafts is really setting the pace. I feel challenged here. Thank you all very much. Next up, we've got Earl, who's going to talk to us about a car upholstery project.
How's it going? Okay, so some of you might know me as the leather guy. Do I need to I actually picked up leather because originally I wanted to reupholster the leather in my car. So I started with that, and I've gotten to the point where I feel comfortable doing it. So that is this project. So I started with the vinyl boots here on my Prindle. Some of the younger people might know it as a Prindle. This is also called a shifter for some of the older people in the room. Anyway, so I started with that. That's the boot for my emergency brake. There's not a special name that I know for that. And this is the leather that I was using. I have a little piece of it right here because I understand. You can't see that. I understand. Well, you know what? That's fine. People have described it as tiger, zebra. I don't know. I just thought it looked neat. And so that's me removing it from my emergency brake. It looks a little funny. That's okay. There it is, standing up. That's me inspecting the seam. So basically, I tore it apart and I stuck it to a bunch of foam core board to draw an outline. Basically, the plan was that I would, trace it, cut it out, and then put it on the leather, and then cut out shapes so that way I could sew it back together. And an intelligent person might have gotten that on the first try. I forgot that when you cut out things on a two-dimensional plane and then you flip it over, it is not the same shape. So I did, and it is embarrassing the amount of times that I messed up on that. So anyway, caveat or a little sidebar. I wrote front and back because I kept forgetting it. So pro tip, if you ever want to do this, do that. So yeah, that's me stitching it together. That's the new and improved boot. Now it just looks fuzzy, I guess. This is, okay, the other thing is, in my car, they really wanted to use cheap plastic for all these brackets, which is very annoying of them to do because mine shattered into like a million pieces. So I had to go on a whole different side quest, just getting a new one. And the thing is that you can't actually, they don't make them anymore. You have to wait for some other poor soul to crash their car and then take it out of theirs. So thank God somebody was having a bad day. So this is me taking my whole center console apart. That's another thing that I've done before, but I have very poor memory. It took forever. But I did get it eventually. I took it off, and there it is standing up again. Now, you might notice that there's a big hole there. That is for the Prindle part of it, the PRNDL, in case you didn't get that. So yeah, you might notice that there's a big cut right where the stitching is. That's annoying to deal with, but we can get over it. The other thing is that because I wasted so much leather kind of being dumb and not realizing two-dimensional plane and all, this was the very last piece of leather that I had. So that is how close I came to not being able to complete this. So, but we got it. So that is me, going back. The other thing is, if you ever do this, make sure that you take apart your center console and put it back together again on the same day. I didn't do that. That was annoying. That's me putting the boot on. I also took the time to recolor that shifter because the weird aged black cheap vinyl didn't look very good against the real leather, so I just repainted it red. The car's red, and then I took my center console lid. And that's the black leather behind it. Also, another sidebar, whoever placed that leather on the hack rack, it was like some weird black leather. You clearly used like a laser cutter to cut it. I don't know if you're in the room right now. I took that and I used it, so now your leather is in my car, so thanks for that. This is me doing the same thing. This is actually the center console vinyl. You'll see that, Anyway, I wrapped the leather around the center console. Getting around this turn was terrible, and I had to cut it and glue it and smack my head against the table for 2 hours. Put it all back together again, painted it the same red. There's the brake, and there it is in my car. So, there it is. So this was actually really fun to do. If anybody has a car that, maybe some of the upholstery is going out on it, let me look at it. I might be willing to do it again. That's it. Anybody have any questions? Oh, you have one question.
What kind of car is it?
It's a 2005 Corvette.
That was the question.
That was it. That's what we were all waiting to know. All right.
Very nice. I love a car project. Next up, we've got Colin, who's got Christmas lighting.
Yeah, with the snow.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crazy Englishman time again. This little project, let's see if we can get this the right way around. Okay, so this started in 2024, in April. This little shop in Bamberg in Germany, which is, as you can tell, on a bit of a slope. Inside, I found this. This is an Advent candle holder. And in typical Crazy Englishman style, I decided I could do a much more elaborate and complicated and unnecessarily stupid one. So I sat there and drew out what I thought was a neat design in AutoCAD, and then printed it out on a piece of paper, and then transferred all the locations onto a piece of sheet metal. Then I drilled a bunch of holes in it and started cutting them out. This is where the real work starts, because that's one, there's two, there's all six. Yeah, this is why this project started 2 years ago. There it is with the outside cut out. And then you make little rods that go between the base plate and the top plate. And you'll notice that the ends are machined down again. Thank you to Billy for the assistance there, getting the collet chuck set up so that you could actually do that in a sort of rational amount of time, other than the constantly resetting the piece up every time. So that was a big help. Thank you for that. Again, image of just one of them. And then that's what they look like when they're riveted in place. So they go through the hole and it's riveted on. And then the top ring goes on and is riveted on in the same way. You'll notice there's gaps, okay? That's because that's where they go. These are the standard candle holders. I actually did a class on them a year or two ago. Made out of 3/4 inch pipe and forged down using a guillotine tool. And then it's just a piece of 1/4 inch bar and a piece of brass tube because it looks nice. Brass tube goes over the bar and it forms a spacer between the two so that when you tighten it up, it doesn't squash everything. And that's what they look like when they're in place initially. Then you take the one in the center. Now the German one didn't have a central candle holder, but ones over here generally do. So this was a piece of 1.5 inch pipe, and my guillotine tool doesn't fit. It's not big enough. So fortunately for us, our good friend Joe had made a suitable tool that we used to great effect. And then when that was all cleaned up, it looks like that. And then when it's trimmed down, ready for installation. And then again, zoom on these a bit, difficult to get the camera to focus on the little brass bit, it wants to focus on the table behind it. So I actually made the nuts to go on the bottom because I couldn't find any brass ones that I liked. And that was the initial assembly, just a proof of how it would all work. The holly leaves in the bottom, I found that the stems were too thin, so I had to make a special tool to put a ridge in it to stiffen them up a little bit. That was more fun. Just another view of it there. Then I painted it, because I figured holly leaves ought to be green. And then I made smaller saucers than I normally do. They're like a 2.5 inch. They're painted green on the outside and gilded brass on the inside. And then we have holly leaves, so you have to have holly berries. And again, thanks to Sue for assistance in locating and how to go about doing that. Used with nylon fishing line, and then lots of them. And then, of all things, brown heat shrink. So all the electrical people know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a polyolefin tube that shrinks when you heat it up. And it goes together, and you can tie it all together, make it into little clusters, and a piece of aircraft safety wire so that it's bendable. And then you put all that together, and you put some candles in it, and it kind of looks like that. And I don't know if it will work. Zoom out as much as possible. Oh, that would be handy. Why didn't I think of that? So there we have, and I made up a bunch of these, just glass beads from Hobby Lobby, again, just with fishing line. And there you have it. Christmas decorations, Christmas lighting. 2 years worth of project.
You're 8 months early.
Made it, yeah.
Spectacular. Thank you, Colin. Next up, we've got a Leaky who has a stitched aquarium. Stitched?
Hello. So I was doing a lot more of my needle pointing when we were pandemicking, and I had my one household, which was one of my girlfriends from work, and we would get together on Sundays and spend almost the entire day together. She cared about football way more than I did, but I would bring my needlepoint, and I would have fun stitching, and we'd make fun of all the foosball stuff, sports ball, happening on television. I accidentally became a football fan because of all of that, so if you hear me talking football now, that's why. But it takes me a long time usually to do what I'm about to show you. And for those of you that were around in the early 2022 timeframe, you saw the beginning of this. I officially have finished my aquarium. So I'm going to do this because I think this will be easier than, I'm not very tall. I do have tall people that could help me hold it up maybe. But, oh, hey, cool. Thanks, guys. If you hold it up too high, no. No. Okay, now I need the men to listen. Listen. Come over here, back where you were, and put it against the board. That does actually still help. It is see-through, and the light goes through it, and you can't actually see the picture. I don't know if Billy can see it. You can probably pick it up a little bit for a little bit, but you won't be able to see much of it. The light will shine right through. So, this is from Greece. I get all of these either from online, which it's still really hard to find these. It's a stamped canvas. There's a couple of German companies that still make them. They're very hard to find, so I'm always on the lookout. But one of the last times I went to Greece, where my grandmother was still alive, and she passed at 94. She lived a good long life and taught me how to do this. This was actually the last canvas I bought while she was still around. And I bought this one to make it for myself. And we have a house, we like oceany, watery themes, and I love aquariums. So it has a little extra meaning for me. So thank you, gentlemen, for helping me with this. But that's my needlepoint, and it took me about, oh, geez, the back's a hot mess. So, sorry, yeah. I'm supposed to have the back look as good as the front. That's not what happens at all. See, I'll let you look right through that. The back is supposed to look as beautiful as the front if I were a proper Greek girl, but clearly I'm not. So, there we go. Very abstract, very abstract. But that's it. And while I'm up here, since there are so many of you, I wanted to do my own shameless plug. I don't know if you guys have heard, but later on this fall, like way later on, like October later on, we are going to be having our annual Makers Market. We're just now starting to kind of peep out some of the information, but if there is interest at this point, think of yourselves, your crafting selves. If you have interest in maybe acquiring a booth, we're going to eventually be opening that up, but I want you guys, our members, and some of our non-members, and everyone in the wide world of listening, I don't know why they're all right there, but they're all right there, consider and start considering if you might be interested in a booth, what you might want to sell. Common questions that I get from members that I want to make sure you guys all know are available is, hey, if you don't think you have enough to sell or you don't want to do it alone, I bet you there's somebody here that would love to share a booth space with you. We've done that. We've had other members do that before, and it is absolutely available. So if you are considering but you're not sure or you have questions, in the Mattermost app, I'm Greekly Aliki. I'm clearly very Greek. My name's Aliki. And outside of that, I'd love to help you get whatever confidence, supplies, whatever you need, but our makers markets are, of course, for us to showcase our making. That date is Sunday, October 4th. Don't worry, you will be nauseatingly sick of me hearing me telling you that by the time we get anywhere near October. But it is a Sunday, and it'll be a typical market day, a noon to 5. So you've got a lot of time to prepare, but that's what really I'm looking to plant some seeds in our makers' minds. So please consider signing up when we open it up. Any questions? Thank you.
Spectacular. And as long as we're thinking about the market, I'm going to go ahead and toss this out there as well, which is that usually we have a flyer to promote the market that we'll try and put out around Knoxville. This year, I'm hoping we're going to have dozens and dozens of different flyers. I would love it if everybody in this room made a flyer for the market in your own special way. Make it look like anything, because I think that it would be fantastic for us to put it out there that Knox Makers has a million points of view, and they're all fantastic. Consider it. We will bother you about that again later, too. In the meantime, though, Joe is going to show off a toy box stand.
Can you put it up on the stand?
It's for kids. Yeah, Rob, you can help me lift it up here. I'd appreciate it, actually. Knox Makers has been approached by our local councilwoman, easy for me to say, Karen Adams. At Sultry Landing Park, they wish to install a free toy box, and the idea is like the free little library or a blessings box or something. They're going to fill it with frisbees and soccer balls and dog toys and different things that people can take a penny, leave a penny kind of a thing. The turnaround on this was pretty quick. We just learned about it very recently. I think the opening is supposed to be Thursday, or the event is supposed to be Thursday for it. So we're kind of under the gun, but you know, like it's a great project. Brian Greenhoe, our woodworking, okay, I don't remember the exact term, so like I don't know where we're at on that, but Brian Greenhoe, our beloved Brian Greenhoe, is going to be making the box part of it. He is already been making these wonderful dovetails and other things that are, you know, like, anyways. But the idea is that it's supposed to be, that's good. That's his idea for the box. It's going to be about 1 foot by 1 foot and 4 foot wide, and different compartments to put different things into. My end of it were the bases. So we're not allowed, well, it's not available to bolt these to the ground or to sink posts or anything. And it's a park, right? You don't want somebody to just bump into it and knock it over. So I think that the 1-inch plate that is holding it down is probably going to be enough that the little uns aren't going to accidentally knock it over. If they do, at least there will be a little kid underneath it to protect the box. We don't want our creation to be hurt, right? But so I don't have a whole lot of pictures of the process. This is all material that was here already. So these are old parking pylon protector curbs from around the blacksmith area that are repurposed. Spent some time like grinding them down and everything like that and getting them ready. The plates were donated to the shop also, so like all of the steel is donated. We're just into this for a little bit of paint. But yeah, Sultry Landing there, or Sultry, how you say it. But hopefully it fits into the little motif. Councilwoman's going to be pleased, we hope, and yeah, but some heavy-ass metal things.
So in addition to the wonderful work that Joe and Greenhoe have been doing, there's another person who's been working on it as well, somebody much too self-effacing and humble to put their name on the list. John Dale, show the thing that you did.
We didn't want to do all that work and not get our branding on it, right? So I made a couple things made out of copper on the laser. Oh. Nope. Yeah. So we can attach these to the box, and everybody will know that Knox Makers made it, right? They're, of course, laser made, 4mm copper, cut them out. That's it. I'll pass them around as long as we get them back. Yeah.
So you gotta ask, how long did it take?
About 4 hours each for the laser parts, and then an hour to cut them out with a hacksaw, and then an hour to sand them on the thing. Yes?
Is there a reason you chose copper?
Wouldn't rust. I don't know. I had it on hand. So, yeah. Any other? Yep.
This is really for the scan. They really don't want to bulk it down because, not saying it, but back in the day, that thing would be over in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
no matter how heavy it is. I'm shocked that they don't want to bulk it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Where's the QR code?
Our website.
I tested it, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else? All right. Thanks.
I thought it was so neat that they contacted us to do that. It was unfortunate that the time period was so short. It was not possible to organize a big community project like we would have liked to, but a lot of folks did come forward to work on it, and especially with a short timetable, I think it's amazing what's come together. And I think that we're going to try and do a big community project as a follow-up. This may be the first of several. I'm pretty stoked about that. Next up, we've got James, who has a mesh weather bot.
So last week I presented a small mesh solar node. This week I wanted to talk about the weather station that I've been working on. This is currently in the parking lot. I got this as a live demo. Hopefully it works. It's been a bit buggy. But I've always kind of wanted to have one of these weather stations. The issue is that whenever you want the data off of them, they always say, sure, hook it up to your Wi-Fi and go to our website and you can look at your data from our webpage. I hate that, but recently I came across a project called WeWX, which allows you to use a software-defined radio to be able to grab the packets, because these things have these little displays that you can see the information on at home. Well, the information is being sent over their little RF signal unencrypted, so you can just grab it if you know the right communication. So I set up a Raspberry Pi to grab the signals. And of course, the big thing this week is mesh networking. So I've set up a chat bot on this Raspberry Pi to go to the WeWX database on the Pi and respond to user inputs. So this one is using the reticulum protocol. So let's say we start the chat, and I just send a question mark. I like the reticulum because you can actually see a spectrum analyzer on the front of it, letting you know what's going on. So I get the general help desk. I say help, and I say I want to know more about this WeWX category. And you'll see some more activity there. And it says, hey, the WeWX category, there's a weather command you can send. You say weather, give it a few seconds, and you'll get a full report of the temperature, humidity, heat index, wind speed, cloud base, and lightning strikes. And I'm hoping to expand this a bit more. The reason I went with I plan to have this work with all the different protocols, Meshtastic, Meshcore, and Reticulum. The reason I went with Reticulum first is it actually has in its protocol web page hosting. Okay, there we go. So this is actually a web page over the protocol, currently being brought up by the did I just break it? No. This is actually over the lower band from the Pi in the front, currently loading a web page. And this web page, graphics included, is also all the same information with the min and maxes for the day, and giving it a little bit more time, a graph of all the information done over the lower band web page hosting. In some ways, this is a little impractical, but it's a fun project came across. This network speed, if you remember the old days of dial-up, when you had computers screaming at each other over phones, those operated at 40 kilobits per second. This operates at a blazing 3.12 kilobits per second. So long cherish your dial-up days, but it's functional, it's mesh networking, and it's my project for this month. Any questions?
Does that mean you don't have to actually tune into the weather channel for the weatherman to lie to you?
No, but this will lie to you too if you want.
Very fancy. Thank you, James. Bringing up the rear tonight, we've got Sean, who has brought post-apocalyptic kids' toys that would go really well in this box thing.
So I follow this artist. He calls himself Worst Buy or Obvious Plant, and what he likes to do is take pre-existing kids' toys off the shelf and then remix them. He'll take things and repaint them or remodel them, and then usually end up putting them back on the shelf. And he did a tutorial a little while ago, and it was like, oh, that's surprisingly easy to do. Why don't I try to do something like that? And he recommended finding really, like dollar store cheap kids' toys, and I found this little grocery set at the store, and I was like, let me do something with this. It's got cardboard elements, it's got plastic, but just had to figure out what I wanted to do with it. Well, a couple months ago, I don't know if we have any fans of Fallout here, the games and the TV show and the game series, but there's a thing in Fallout called Super Duper Mart, which is usually a hideout for killers and whatnot, but I was like, why don't I recreate this grocery store with things from the Fallout universe? And so, this kit included stuff like a milk bottle and ketchup that doesn't look like ketchup, and red wine and nondescript soda, and then just a bunch of plastic vegetables, and then milk and things like that, and giant box of chocolates, same size as a box of coffee, and nondescript sandwich cookies. So I decided to remix some of those and did them in the style, and then made a backer for this and made my own Super Duper Mart backing board for this. Used the original cardboard and was able to cut it out, but I did all the other graphic design on my own to make it look like a kid's toys that's hanging up in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. And the things I have, so I did the backing board, I did the little shelves all had labels on them as well that I had to replace, and so I remade all of those. I scanned them and brought them into Photoshop and remade them, and then glued them up on the original cardboard. And so I put those in there, so I have those just slot right in. And so for the sandwich cookies became Sugar Bomb cereal. The chocolates became Blamco mac and cheese. The coffee became Yum Yum brand deviled eggs, because what don't you want in the middle of a wasteland is a bunch of deviled eggs. And then the milk became a carton of water. And just to give you an idea of what these look like in the game, we have the carton of water. Looks like this, a little hard to see, but pretty close, I feel like. The sugar bombs, pretty close. A lot of these have texture files that you can find online. The one that didn't, though, was this design was from the show. Was the Yum Yum deviled eggs. There's a few different designs, and so I decided to remake the one from the show whole cloth, and so I just made that in a drawing program and tried to approximate the general design of that. And then, yeah, the Blamco, the box dimensions were different too. So if like the mac and cheese one is obviously a little off, but still fits into the general aesthetic. And then for the the drinks there, instead of soda, of course, had to go with Nuka-Cola, and made a little tiny bottle cap for it and painted the logo on it as best I could. I couldn't add the fins because then it wouldn't fit back into the plastic packaging, but I still like it. And then I did Sunset Sarsaparilla there. We have this medication called Buff Out, and so I remade that on there. And then finally Radex, a radiation medication that I have on there as well. And then as far as these fruits, there are some of these that are still in the game as well. There's like carrots, which had weird little protuberances on there. And again, couldn't make them stick out too far or else they wouldn't fit back into the box. But I tried my best there. They didn't have eggplants in the game, so I improvised. They do have glowing fungi, and so I decided to make a glowing gourd. And so this is actually, this will actually glow in the dark. I don't have my UV flashlight, but if you charge it up enough, it does glow in the dark with that's some glow in the dark paint. And then the corn, it's corn. It's kind of a weird. Yeah, exactly. It's taken some while. Typical Bethesda game. And then finally, there was no green peppers, so I went with the mute fruit, which is a purple, lumpy, warty-looking plum thing, and I put some air dry clay and kind of filled out the shape of some of these to kind of give it a different profile, and then added some leaves onto it. But yeah, so once it's all together, and then it fits all back into the plastic, and I can glue it back if I want to, or just keep it open. But yeah, this has been a fun project. I bought this thing like a year ago, and it sat there unused for a long time. And then finally, the TV show coming out with its second season kind of kick-started me back into wanting to do it. And the last thing I think I'm going to do to it is include a little instant manufacturer's rebate with some bottle caps, which, if you know the show, that's the game, that's the currency that's in the game. So I have some bottle caps to include on there as an instant rebate. So yeah, any questions? All right, thanks everybody.
Very well done, sir. Probably our only share incorporating the word protuberance. I do have some announcements to share with you all this evening. Most delightfully, I want to let you know that we have a new 3D printing Zarina. Mandy has volunteered to take over that zone, and she is here tonight. Thank you very much. So hopefully we will see some exciting and fun new things happening in that zone, and we are very thankful and pleased to have you on board. Thank you. I want to tell you about some classes we've got coming up in the next few days, and I want to remind all the trial members that when classes are happening, you can be in the shop. This is a good way to take advantage of your trial period. As long as you're not trying to use the zone where the class is, then there's no problem at all. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, March the 18th, we've got a thumper authorization class in blacksmithing. We've got a pin turning class going on in woodworking, and the Kintsugi class in arts and crafts, all of which are completely sold out, which is awesome. That is great for the instructors, it's great for the group, and that's very cool. Thursday, we have drawstring leather bag that's in Fiber Arts, also sold out. As the Lathe Turns is happening in woodworking from 7 until 9. That is a drop-in. Everybody's welcome to hang out and learn about rotating wood and injuring it. And also, too, on Thursday, the new member onboarding session will be happening here in the classroom at 7:30. So if you're on the path towards membership, or if you're thinking about becoming a member, come join us for new member onboarding. Friday, which is the 20th, we got Cam Jam happening in woodworking, I assume? No, in the classroom? In the classroom, we're doing Cam Jam. First one? Yes. First one. So this is all about learning about using NibblerBot and all that sort of business. FreeCAD, yes, very good. Saturday, we've got Moonraker 101 and Crossbow 101, both in laser cutting. Those are sold out. Stitch and Bitch is happening in Fiber Arts, though, from 1 until 4. You can go hang out there. And Sunday, we've got an Intro to Forging in the blacksmithing area. That, I believe, still has tickets available. That is a members-only type situation, so you can learn how to do the forge. We will also, on Sunday, be doing a Build an Optical Theremin class here in the classroom so that you can learn how to solder and make a very irritating device. That is sold out. And then later on Sunday, microcontrollers, state machines, and rotary encoders. That is some next level microcontroller programming stuff. If you don't know what those things are, but you like microcontrollers, you should take that class because it is super handy. Tonight, when we finish up with this, we will be learning a little bit about OpenSCAD, which is a free and open source parametric solid modeling software. Predominantly used for 3D printing, but not only. I will be teaching that in about 10 minutes. So if you have not heard enough of my voice, you can hang out here with me. Thank you, everybody, for bringing delicious food and stuffing me with it, most especially to our intrepid grill team who have kept us all fed. And as we beg you every month, please be sure to take food home with you, fill your pockets and purses, do not leave food here for the vermin to eat, and please lend a hand and help clean up all the tremendous mess that we make when we celebrate in just this way. So now it's time to go out and have seconds or possibly thirds, clean up after ourselves, have a bio break, and then come back in here and learn about OpenSCAD. Thanks everyone for being here, and happy St. Patrick's Day.